Well, guys, as always, appreciate your guys' time. Haven't seen you guys in a week, so you guys got a little bit of a break from me, but appreciate your guys' time as always. And thank you, Jesus, for another day of life, another opportunity to coach these kids, man, and have an impact. And every day I come into the office, man, I'm so blessed to be a part of this program, this team, this community, because we've got a great group, man. We just got to keep growing every single day. Obviously, learned a lot from this season, taking the bye week, early on the bye week, taking time to look at our team, right? Learning a lot. We talk about really a football season's in 3 phases, right? Your first month-ish is the identity time. We've talked about this where it's like you're really finding a lot about your team. Who are your leaders? What do we do really well in all 3 phases? Who are our guys? And then that month of October-ish is really building skill. You got to keep showing growth week in and week out, right? And obviously we showed some growth in some areas and then some growth. Obviously a lot of growth still needs to happen in all 3 phases as a team, right? It's hard going to the bye week coming off a really bad game, and that's on us. That's on starting with me to look and see kind of why that happened and how we can be better. And then the month of November, man, this is the separation month. This is where boys come turn to men, and you see that around college football. I mean, I talked with our leadership today just about some different examples around college football of games that it's November football, man. Crazy things happen. And you got to find ways to win, and that's November football. So we're stepping into that this part of the season. So proud of our guys during the bye week. We had some really good conversation with our leadership, really good conversation with our players about, hey, if we practice and prep the right way, why did we play poorly? Why did we not play with joy and juice and didn't execute and didn't make the plays we needed to? And at the end of the day, guys, this all starts with me. I'm the head football coach, and it's on me to look at these things to see why this happened. And just like anything, not overthinking it, but not running from it either. Like, this is a lesson we got to learn. That was a big prayer that I had on Sunday after the game. It was my birthday. My wife called me because I couldn't sleep. I came in like 4:30 a.m., sat in the elliptical, and my wife called me and was like, it's your birthday today. I'm like, gosh darn it, it is. And I'm thankful for life. But I was praying. I was like, Lord, whatever lesson I need to learn, I want to learn it. I want to learn it. And that doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to be perfect, but whatever lessons that football give you, because we get judged on 12 nights a year, what are we as a team needing to learn? And there's a lot of things that came from that game, a lot of things that showed us our culture is what you put out there. And there's a lot of things that we need to fix. And I love this team, and I'm proud of the conversation we've had. I'm proud of the 2 practices we had this week that was just focused on us, focused on growing, focused on improving. How can we improve some of these fundamentals and techniques that we need to? So, we got a lot of work to do, a lot of things to continue to grow from. Injury-wise, before talking about San Diego State, Maddox is going to be out for a little bit. He's going to miss this game. I do think he's going to be back this season, which is really exciting, but he's going to be out this week, and I talked to him. He's going to be an assistant coach for us this week as he fights to get healthy, and we're going to pour into Max, believe in Max Cutforth, and excited for him to take the reins and be QB1 going this week. Jason Steele, he's really going to be questionable this week. I don't see Jason playing right now. He's a warrior. We'll see. It's going to be probably day to day, but I don't see him participate in this game. Hopefully, we will get him back this season too, but I don't see him coming back this game. Zion Washington should be ready to roll, right? He's going to be able to practice this week, and we'll see when we go through more practices. But I think that Zion will be back rolling. Chris Marshall's back with the team after his week of suspension, and he did a good job last week with the guys, and excited for him to be back in the fold and help our team find a way to win. So those are kind of the main updates from regards to injury. Obviously, anything else comes up, we'll kind of go through it. San Diego State-wise, huge game, huge opportunity this weekend. I mean, Sean Lewis, the job he's done this year, hats off to him. I mean, he's absolutely a guy that'll be in the Coach of the Year conversation. I mean, what they've been able to do. And I think I got a lot of respect for how they do it, too. I mean, you look at their roster, and I've talked to our team about this. They got a bunch of returning starters from last year. And that's uncommon in this space. Obviously, that's something we want to double down on too, is making sure we keep our players. We focus on keeping our talent here. And they did that. I mean, they got a bunch of returning starters on defense, bunch of returning starters on offense and special teams. And they did a really good job either through high school kids or the portal, finding ways to even create more competition. So, I mean, they're a very talented roster. I've talked to a couple coaches that have played them, and they just say, Coach, one thing you got to be ready for, they're going to play very, very hard. And that's what I hope guys talk about our team when they call coaches that have played us, right? And that's hats off to Coach Lewis, hats off to their staff. I mean, and you watch it. They got an edge about how they play in all 3 phases. And they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to win. And even the game they played against Hawaii, I mean, first off, going to Hawaii to play is hard. We've been there. It's a dogfight. It's hard. There was some weather. And they battled, and some things didn't go their way. This is a really good football team. I mean, they've traveled a bunch of places. They played really good teams. They shut out Cal at home and beat them up. And you can see kind of the season Cal's having. They just beat Louisville. So they're a talented team. They play really, really hard together. And when you watch them, you see that they care about each other. They love each other. There's a lot of juice for them as a team. And I got a lot of respect for that. And that's after Coach Lewis and the job he's done. And you can see that they've continued to grow throughout the season. Starting with their defense, I mean, they're one of the top defense in the country. I think stats-wise, I think they're the number 2 defense in the country, and that's earned and deserved. And their players play really, really hard. They got really good schematic switch-ups. They put the quarterback in conflict consistently. They do a great job with their front. They tackle well. They do a great job creating interceptions and taking the ball. They're one of the top teams in the country in regards to turnover margin. And they don't give up yards easy on defense. I mean, you get a first down, that's a big deal. I mean, they're a very, very stingy defense, and they play really, really hard. A couple guys to note: Trey White, one of the best players in the country. I mean, he's an edge rusher for him, number 2. They do a lot with him, and his game's even evolved and taken a big step over this past season. And I mean, he's a player we have to know where he's at all times. Chris Johnson, number 1, their corner, one of the best corners in the country. A little bit banged up, didn't play much against Hawaii, but he's one of the best cover corners in the country, and he's also going to show up and tackle too, which I love about his game. Owen Chambliss is their linebacker, number 12. We knew him coming out of high school. Really good player. Long, athletic, one of their top leading tacklers, one of their top leading in creating interceptions. We got to know where he's at all times. Their secondary plays really well together. They do a really good job disguising coverages. They'll change it on you post-snap. They do a great job of their front creating movement, and it's really hard to get any tells on what they're going to do, and they play really, really hard together. Their whole back end has played really well together for a long time. Bunch of returning starters. Eric Butler is a really good player for him, number 6. So I got a lot of respect for what they do defensively. I mean, and it's easy when they're the number 2 defense in the nation. But what we get, we're going to have to earn every yard because they're a really stingy defense. Got a lot of respect for how they play. Offensively, obviously, Coach Lewis, offensive guy. Got a lot of respect for what they do offensively too. I mean, starting off with their 5 senior offensive linemen. This is probably the biggest offensive line we've seen all season. Mike Schmidt, their offensive line coach, known him for a long time, San Diego native. He does a great job, great recruiter, and he attacks what you do defensively. Like they're not just going to come out and just run their plays. They are going to have specific run plays to attack our defense. We got to be ready. We got to be ready to adjust because he's really, really skilled at creating mismatchups, with their offensive front and what they do. So got a lot of respect for how they run the football. Lucky Sutton's the top running back in our conference for a reason, number 7. Very good balance. He's a one cut and then can also take it the distance, but he's big too. He's tough to take down. Big, thick kid. Jordan Napier, one of the receivers, that they put him everywhere. They'll give him the ball in fly sweeps. They'll give him handoffs. He's a true sophomore, Southern California kid. Elite football player. Elite with the ball in the air. They're going to find a way to get him the ball at all times, and we got to know where number 2 is at. And Jaden, their quarterback, man, remember him coming out of high school, Michigan transfer. I mean, he is big now. I mean, he's big. He can make every throw. He can run it. I also love, he's got a really good moxie to him too. He's a captain for a reason. He can make the throws. He can make the runs. They do a lot of RPOs. They got some design runs, some design drop back pass, some shots, and he can make them, man. He's tough to take down, and he does a great job scrambling to throw and then also scrambling to take off and move the chains. And like I said, they just got a really talented group, and we know they're going to be really well coached. They mix in tempo to where you don't know. Sometimes they're going to tempo and run the ball, tempo and throw the ball, tempo, hard count you. They've got a lot of free plays from hard counts where a defense is reeling. And obviously that's stuff we got to be ready for. Special teams wise, they attack you on special teams. They got a lot of different looks in all 4 phases. They got a bunch of different fakes they're going to try to run against you. They make it tough in their coverage units. They make it tough in some of their punch structures. And so we got a lot of work cut out for us to make sure, because they're gonna find ways to create explosive plays on special teams. They're really well coached. They play hard. So got a lot of respect for Sean Lewis and their group, man. I mean, there's no doubt that's why they're where they're at. That's why they're 8-2. That's why they're the number 1 team in the Mountain West for a reason. And we got a lot of respect for them. And now it's our job as coaches to keep to pour into our players for us to play our best Saturday night. That's what our focus is, man. It ain't about anything else than this game and us playing our best and us growing every week. So with that, open up for questions.
How did Max respond in practice last week? And did Caleb push him in any sort of competition?
Yeah, Max did a great job. Max is our QB, and he's who we're pouring into. Did a really good job, and he's even stepping up in that leadership role, especially now where it's not like in game. Sometimes it's hard where all of a sudden you go from watching to being the guy. Now we've gone through. Hey, Max Cutforth is our QB number one. And Max is doing a great job pouring into him. We're pouring into him. And he's done a really good job. And we've got 3 quarterbacks that are healthy. And so Caleb, Zeke competing, we're gonna find a way to make sure all 3 are ready to play. But Max Cutforth is our guy.
Just curious if you could say more about Maddox and what the injury is, also just where he's at right now. Is he rehabbing? Is he still resting? I guess, where's he at?
It's a lower leg injury, and I'm going to kind of keep it at that, Sean. But he's rehabbing, and he was in our leadership meeting today. He's rehabbing. Obviously, can't practice or do anything, but we're rehabbing at this point. Not something that we got to get surgery on, which is awesome. Very thankful for that. Obviously, had a lot of specialists go through it to make sure we always want to do what's best for our kids. So we'll get him back this season. I don't know exactly what that time frame is, but he's out this week.
I guess just with Max, now he's had a couple of weeks of practice as QB1. Have you seen him jump anywhere specifically, or just as his overall game just improves, just being treated as QB1 as opposed to QB2?
Yeah, I told Max, I don't need Max to be anybody but himself. I told him that. I don't need you to be Maddox. I don't need you to try and become this completely different core. I need Max's best. So I told him, just be your best. Play football, man. He's from down the street, walked on here, earned a scholarship. I want Max to be his best, and his best is what we need. And no different for the rest of our team. Hey, but I need their best too. I don't need anybody to try, well, this is what's needed from me now. No. But I need your best, and that is required of you, and this is in all 3 phases. We got to find a way to win in all 3 phases, and it's not just going to be on our quarterback.
Kind of mental toughness, I guess, in state, and it's one thing to get thrown in this, in the game, but now to be sitting around for 2 weeks knowing he's the starter. Being a local guy, I'm sure there's a lot of attention and people reaching out to him. Just how do you think he's handling all this mentally?
Yeah, I'm sure. To your point, BJ, local kid, especially the story, walk on. Now he's going to start a game for Boise State football. Awesome. My message always with our players, I want to try always be a truth teller. It's just, hey, this is where we're at. Max, we believe in you. Go be your best. And it's all process focused, because even we got players from Southern California. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of family. It's process. How can I have my best Monday? How can I focus on growing to understand the game plan really well? And for Max, that's going to be no different. I believe in Max. And same thing to Sean's question. I don't need Max to be anybody but his best. And we got to make sure we set him up for success. And I need everybody to play their best, not because Max Cutforth is our quarterback. It'd be no different if Maddox Madsen was rolling out there on Saturday night. I want our players to grow, because that's November. It's separation month. I need our guys to step up and be their best.
You have to, dumb down the playbook or limit anything when he's in there as opposed to Maddox?
No, Max is extremely bright. And that we can run our entire playbook with Max, and that's what we love about Max. He's very bright. He can make all the throws. Now we got to make sure we put him in good spots, but we're going to run our offense. We got to make sure we execute. That's what we didn't do consistently. A week ago against Fresno State? We just didn't execute. And that's not just on the quarterback. It's the play calls, the offensive line, the tight ends, the receivers, the running backs, obviously the quarterback too. But no, we can run our entire playbook, and that was the biggest thing for us. No different in a bye week. What do we do well? What are some things that we got to do well, and what are the things that we got to do to attack San Diego State? And Max can do all those things.
Talk about process and stuff. Bye weeks seem to fall at a convenient time maybe for a guy like Max. Does this process alter at all now that he's QB1, or what does that look like, and what did his bye week look like?
Yeah, hopefully not, Jay, to be honest with you. Hopefully the process that when he was QB2, he can stay with that exact process. But there is more. There's going to be more urgency. It's just the nature of it, right? When hey, snap one, I'm rolling out there. But he's a competitor. Zach Hill, our quarterback coach, does a great job with him. He's a football guy. He's smart. He picks things up really well, and he can run our offense, right? With our offense, it's not just who's the most talented quarterback. Can you operate our offense? Because we're a pro-style offense. There's a lot of intricacies to what we do, and Max can run it. We can be efficient. We can operate with Max at the helm. And last week, going into it and really going through self-scout to see, okay, what are the things that we do well? What can our players execute really well? Max can do all of it. And we just need to pour into him to make sure the moment's not too big. That's why, for me, I'm just go play football, man. The work has been done in the bye week. Let's go through our practice this week. By the time we fly down to San Diego, man, go cut it loose. Go have fun. That's what it is.
Do you have early in his time, your Max Cutforth moment? Obviously you believe in the point where you want to put him on scholarship. So do you, I've covered him back in high school, and I saw him as a competitor there. But do you have a little moment, maybe something against your defense or anything like that?
Yeah.
Do you recall?
It's a good question, Jay. I remember when he was on, scout team quarterback, and I was probably yelling at him a ton, just like some of the other defensive coaches, just to do something. But what I love about Max is he never gets too high or too low. And similar, him and Maddox are very different personality, different players, all that. But like he's a very cool, calm competitor. Even in the Fresno State game, things are not going our way. We're not playing well, and that's not Max's fault. Just in general, if anything, it's my fault. But he never was deer in the headlights. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what is this moment I'm a part of? He was just like, Coach, I'm on it. I got it. Let's go. And that's an uncommon trait. And seeing that even, like I said, local kid, walked on, had opportunities to go other places, walked on here because he wanted to be a part of this football team. And even through his time here, he's absolutely earned the right to be a scholarship quarterback.
Coach, back to your opening statements, you talked about a lot of soul searching and finding answers to some questions that you were looking for. What did you learn about your team?
Yeah, good question, Mike. I think, the two biggest questions that I had and we talked a lot about as a team were, first off, I thought we prepped really well, practiced really well, but we didn't play well. Why? And some really good things came up. Okay, how can we simplify? How can we make sure that we celebrate each other more? How can we make sure that our relationships throughout the building, coach to player, are where they need to be, even 3 months in? Because it's easy to get caught up in the rut of like, it's kind of the same old when you've been doing this for a long time. That's everywhere in college football. So a lot of things came up to that question, what we can do. Creating more competition at practice, good on good, to make sure our guys don't lose that edge and can execute. So a lot of good things came from those questions. Then another one is, how do we respond to adversity better, right? Fresno State, starting quarterback goes down. Some other things don't go our way. Why did we not respond the right way? Why? And just really good hearing how we can maybe practice some of those things better, how we can preach next play, where it's not just next play. Like, no, it really is. Like, even if it's a touchdown for us or a touchdown against us, it's next play. Because we're a process-focused team. So a lot of good things came out of it, Mike, and a lot of things even for me as a coach looking at, am I putting too much, am I focusing on things that don't need to be focused? Am I focusing too much on maybe things that, and talking too much to our guys about Mountain West Championship and college football, which I really don't, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe but I also know in this community that's talked about all the time. So is there too much pressure on our guys to where they're playing tight? Because I don't want that. I want our guys to just go play with joy. Cut it loose. So how can I be better to make sure when they're in this building, there's no stress, man. The only stress I want is for you to be your best. I don't care what you do in this life. I want you to be your best. So a lot of really good conversations came out of it. Mike had a lot of really good conversation with guys that are in this building that are mentors to me, and really good conversation with our leaders and our players so we can grow.
Did you sense that there was a little bit of frustration coming out of that Fresno State game, and maybe if you didn't attack it right away, that maybe you could build?
Mike, we got booed off the field. I mean, yeah, there's frustration, I think, in this entire state after that game, I'll be honest with you. And yeah, you got to have really real life conversations. And we haven't been in that situation as a program. We've had some hard moments, and it hasn't been rainbows and butterflies, but that was a hard one. One of the harder moments for me as a coach. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget being on that Blues, seeing a team raise the milk can and have our fans be as disappointed in us as they should have been. And I get it. And I was asked before, well, they booed. Yeah, I would have booed me too. So, oh yeah, we didn't run from it. I mean, we had real life conversations as a staff, players, me. Like, you got to take ownership of those things. But taking ownership only goes so far. To me, it's like, yeah, I take ownership as head coach, but then what are we going to do? How are we going to learn from this? Because we don't learn from it, we're not going to grow as a team. And to me, it ain't about just wins. I want us to be better as a team and learn from this. And then I believe the results take care of themselves.
Back to Max, going from walk-on to QB1, an uncommon story. I don't know when the last time it's happened here was, but what kind of special traits does a player need to really make that type of rise?
Yeah, with Max, I think just being a competitor. I mean, that's number one core value in our program. In climb, seize competition. And that's urgency to win in everything. And I think that's Max, right? That's Max. I mean, seeing a guy counted out, I shouldn't say counted out, but obviously as a walk-on at any program, there's guys that the staff think that maybe are going to potentially be better. And he just continue to work, continue to learn, continue to grow. And little by little, he's climbed all the way to be QB2. And then we know with QB2, you're one snap away from being the guy. And he is the guy now. And he's earned that right.
You guys had more penalty yards and rushing yards in that last game. Mm-hmm. How do you get the running game going, and how much would that help Max?
Yeah, that's exactly to your point, BJ. That's why it's not how can Max all of a sudden be elite quarterback, which he's going to play well, but we got to be more efficient in all phases of our offense. We have to be able to run the football efficiently. That's a DNA part of our team. We have to be able to do that. We didn't do that. So we got to be able to make efficient throws. We can't start set 1st and 20 because of a holding call, or 1st and 15 because of a false start. Like we're hurting ourselves, and we can't do that. You can't do that against especially against San Diego State. You're not going to win a game versus a really good football team, and we saw that against Fresno State, who's a really good football team. So all 3 phases, we've a lot has come up this week from self-scout of Fresno State, obviously prior games of just, okay, what do we need to teach better, right? Because that's what we control. We're teachers. What do we have to teach better? What needs to be clear? What needs to be more concise? What needs to be simpler for our guys? And then that's what we kind of went to do, because in all phases, and where guys are hurt, it's next man up, carry the flag. I'm sure San Diego State's going to have some injuries. It's next man up, carry the flag.
In terms of the distribution of carries, we ask you about it, pretty much every week, and it seems like it's a different guy, maybe hot hand this game. I mean, you guys are 5-0, and Dylan Riley gets at least 10 carries. I mean, is at some point, do you need to pick a guy and give him more of the action, or do you think the kind of hot hand all three guys getting similar stuff can work?
Yeah, all 3 are going to be involved in this game plan. All 3 are going to have plays for them, and we're going to run the hot hand. But I'll be the first to say, getting Dylan Riley touches the ball 6 times can't happen. And that's on me as a head coach. We got to have a plan to make sure he touches the ball more than that, and that won't happen again.
We've had the conversation a lot about the personal fouls and unnecessary roughness penalties. How has the conversation continued to evolve to eliminate the self-inflicted negatives?
Yeah, we've had too many this season, and we had too many obviously in the Fresno State game, and one of our players has had it in multiple games. And we had conversations. I don't shrug my shoulders. I don't have an answer. We sat down like, well, why does this happen? Every time it happens, we pull you out, we go through the discipline, we run as a team. But at some point, if I don't learn from touching the hot stove, where are we going to? What are we doing? And so we can continue to have conversations. And with a couple of the ones in the game, the roughing the passer, can't do it. Can't do it. Those, it's bang, bang. I see it. One of them, the late tackle out of bounds, can't happen. Absolutely should have been called and should be called every single time. Can't happen. And why? But why are they happening? And that's what we kind of look at the staff and just making sure, hey, what are we teaching? What are we teaching with the quarterback? We got to make sure that we don't continue to have roughing the passer calls, because just because the emotion of you wanting to push a quarterback to the ground there does not help our team. Hey, you make a tackle and you're out of bounds. It's over. And if you think you need to finish the tackle, you're not going to play. So we got to look at those things. And obviously, like we talked about, Amaron's had a lot of them, and we just got to continue to, I love him. He's a great teammate. He's a great kid. But in those moments, frustration, competitor come out, and he's made bad decisions. He's not a bad kid. I love him. He loves his team, and he's done some really great things for this football team this year. But that's a part of his game that needs to get fixed.
Chris Marshall, I don't think in your career you've had to suspend somebody where they're out of the building for a week. You didn't know if he was going to come back or how he would come back. What were your emotions that Monday when he showed up and you saw him there and he was, I guess, doing what he needed to do or was asked to do? Just your emotions of getting him back, because you might have thought he might not be here.
Yeah, I was really positive in my mindset when we had our conversation about going into the week of him being suspended, because of how he handled it. And he took ownership. He knew what it was. It wasn't. And so I felt really confident in how because he responded really, really well. Understood it, coach. I get it. I'm going to be better for this. And so I was very positive with last Monday, showing up that he would be in a good headspace, and he was. And he did a really good job last week in the bye week of practice and what we needed him to do. And so we just need to be consistent with that. And I love Chris. I care about him. But there are standards to be a part of this team and how we act and what we do. And so excited for him to learn from it.
I don't know how much you want to say about it, but would you refer to it as a momentary lapse in judgment, or what?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it more than just their standards with which we have here for players and coaches. And if guys don't meet those, there's going to be repercussions.
I know after the game, it was kind of people were laughing about it or not wanting to think about it. But I mean, you still control your own destiny in the conference race here, and you have a chance to host the championship if you win your last 3 games. I mean, how much are you trying to, as bad as maybe it seems at times the season's been, you guys are still kind of right there where you want to be? Yeah,
I think, thinking about that, BJ, and we absolutely have everything in front of us, just like San Diego State and some other teams. Like we just got to keep getting better and keep growing and continue to play our best. The season's not over. We got a lot of awesome things to play for. But I also think about the game against Fresno State. We had everything to play for that game. On the blue, all this. He didn't play well. So I'm more now taking the step like maybe it is too much pressure. Maybe it's our guys having to be somebody and fulfill some of these expectations, which you should at Boise State, no doubt. That's a part of being here, right? No one's had more consecutive winning seasons in the country than Boise State. So there's a part of that when you walk in this building. But my biggest focus for our guys is not, well, look at what we do if we win these games. Today. How can we grow and play our best Saturday night in San Diego? That's what I want to do. And if we play our best and they win, I'll tip my hat. And I'll sleep fine. I know you guys won't want me to, but I will if we play our best. But I know if we play our best, we're going to be in a good situation.
I know you've got confidence in Max. You've got a QB2 who's a walk-on underclassman. Are you content with that, or do you think a QB room needs a little bit more going forward? Yeah,
every room we need to continue to grow and find players that obviously push the needle football-wise, but fit here, that fit our culture, that fit where we're about, and want to be a part of a team. Not here because of what we can do for them. That's a part of it, but want to be a part of a team. And so we absolutely need to grow our QB room. Absolutely. But we need to, my goal every year is to push the needle and grow every single position room in this building. And so I love Max. I love all our quarterbacks in our quarterback room. Do we need to continue to grow the quarterback room and continue to push it forward? We absolutely do.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago with recruiting and that, and go with fans who are in leagues. Got Magic goes down, Max has got back up. I guess just how difficult is it recruiting a quarterback in today's age where, like we said, you've had guys commit, decommits. Just how difficult is it right now?
Yeah, recruiting, at all positions, recruiting's changed. But especially recruiting quarterback. And I think it's funny how the answer, a lot of times that I see, I'm not saying from guys in this room, but the answer always is the transfer portal. That's the answer. Like if you don't have a position that's playing well, go to the transfer portal. And I'm not going to speak a lot about it, but like that's not always the right answer. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And we will walk that path with every single position. But there's a lot that goes into that as well. There's a lot financially that goes into recruiting the transfer portal for the right type of a player. There's a lot that goes into from a culture standpoint. So for us, recruiting quarterbacks is recruiting any other position. Obviously, quarterback's pivotal. And we have had some decommits. We've had some things. But I believe in this team. And I believe in what we can continue to grow to. And I know we're going to find the right ones. That doesn't mean that people on the outside are going to love clicking on the commitment graphic. I don't know. But I know it's going to be the right one. And where they come in is where they're going to grow to, but everyone is going to like who they become here because they're wired the right way. That's what I believe in recruiting. If you try and make everybody happy on rankings and who you have, I don't think you're focused on what matters. For us here, talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling. I want to find guys with a high talent, but most importantly, high character, because then they can become really good football players and really good parts of this culture. And so note with the quarterback room, we're continuing to recruit a quarterback. We've got one great that we really like committed, and we got another one that we're working to find who that is, but we'll find him. We'll find the right one.
All right, thanks, man. We're good, Sean.
Yep.
Hey, Coach.
Thanks, guys.